Hey, you guys, it's Katya with Hindustan Astrology, and I want to discuss in this video the month of September 2023 Vedic Sidereal Forecast. Now, this month we've got a big turnaround, and that is because Venus is finally going to go direct. Yes, she's been retrograde all summer, and personally, it's been a little taxing for myself. I don't know how you guys have fared with this, but that's going to happen on September 3rd. And then we've got, of course, Mercury will go direct. But around the same time, actually, the next day on the 4th of Venus going direct, we have Jupiter going retrograde. So this is an intense, 4.5, 5 months happens every year. And I feel like, it's going to be particularly intense this time. And that is because as Uranus is, retrograde as of August 28th, we will have Jupiter going back, Uranus going back, but then when Jupiter goes forward, Uranus will still be going back, and they will conjunct next April 20th. So kind of the showdown is starting this month. So there's not as many astrological things happening, but there is a lot of intensity. So let's get started. All right, you guys. So I prepared a little presentation for this month, and we've only got 2 slides. That's because, like I said, there's not a lot of things going on, but what is going on is going to be significant. So September 3rd at 9:21 p.m. EST, we have Venus going direct at 18 degrees of Cancer, Ashlesha Nakshatra. This will be the second time that Venus has gone through the Gandanta zone and come out the other side. Now that she's direct, she's going to go through that Gandanta zone again. So she's not out of the woods until October, right? So later on this month, she's actually going to be in her Gandanta zone again. Go to my website if you didn't read my article about the the journey of Shukra. I have all the dates there. That you can see all of the times when she was Gandanta. And this time, at least she won't be retrograde, right? So that's significant. But yeah, later this month, until October, she's not quite out of the woods yet. So again, wherever Venus retrograde has probably been challenging, things coming up from the past. Things that need to be dealt with concerning love, romance, partnership, money, female friendships as well. All of those things have been issues, just depending on where she is in your chart, right? And then September 4th at 10:12 a.m. EST, Jupiter goes retrograde. So as Venus goes direct, Jupiter's going backwards. And these are the two gurus. Jupiter's in Aries right now. And as I said before, as Jupiter goes retrograde, Uranus is going retrograde, and then Jupiter will stop and then we'll go forward, but Uranus will still be going retrograde. And so this whole time up until April 20th is going to be quite tumultuous, I think. What is Jupiter-Uranus combination? What does this mean, especially in Aries? Well, this is when innovations happen. This is when pioneering happens. Again, the last time this happened was when Florida was founded in the 1500s. So, we've got pioneering a new world is a big theme for this. And we're going to, continue to hear more about SpaceX and, the other companies, NASA, the launch to the moon, as well as Mars. These are all very big things. And, we had that blue moon just, 2 days before September 1st. And, Uranus is sudden things as well, right? Like electricity or a lightning strike or that eureka moment when you get something. And what concerns me is that as I'm filming this, we've got a hurricane heading straight for Pensacola. It's going to go over to Jacksonville, go up. The weather system is going all the way up through the Carolinas. And so what concerns me, because Cancer is a water sign, and when a planet stations direct, that element can be stronger. And so I'm a little bit concerned about storms around the 3rd and 4th, or rather the result of storms. That's going to be an issue. And then we've got on the 14th, our new moon at 27 degrees of Leo, Uttara Falguni. Now, new moon is something that happens once a month. It's technically the beginning of the month. But with Uttara Falguni, this is a nakshatra that unfortunately I've gotten to know quite well this summer, because Uttara Falguni, the deity is Aryaman, and this is the star of patronage. So these people love to give and help their communities. They are quite philanthropic and quite kind and generous. But the problem is that people take advantage of their generosity, and they can attract a lot of bad people. Leo is the sign of, the superstar, right? Leo is, the lion that shines and loves to be in the spotlight. And of course, we know what's been going on with Hollywood and the strike. They are, trying to be, recognized for their worth and get the money that is deserved to them for the work that they've done. Talk about people, bad people taking advantage of the situation. I mean, I feel like that's going to be a big issue for this new moon. Let's take a look at the chart. Mercury's still retrograde, and having the sun and moon, right there with it is definitely showing that the film industry will be a big focus of this. Now, for the United States chart, our ascendant is over here in Sagittarius. So this puts this new moon in our 9th house, which is the house of law. So I think that some laws are going to change, some fortunes are going to change. Hopefully, people will finally get paid for what they are worth. It's infuriating as someone who's been, I'm a retired entertainer, but I still produce music, and I hope that this filters over into the music industry, because I'm certainly not getting the royalties that, I deserve for my work and the work of my team, and it's infuriating. So this new moon is definitely going to bring us some new laws concerning this. Now, the 9th house is also the house of overseas, right? It's long distance travel. So laws changing, how we trade, how we're doing business with people long distance. I think that's going to be a big focus. Now, Mars is in Virgo still for this new moon, and this is in our 10th house of the government. And as you know, they're already talking about COVID lockdowns for schools, and schools just started. Again, it's a Mercury retrograde theme as well. But having Mars in Virgo, he's actually quite strong in this sign, because he is exalted in Capricorn, which is an earth sign like Virgo. For our health, we've got to be careful. I hate to say it, but don't go out unless you absolutely have to. You don't want to get sick again. Trust me. I've been through it. So that's definitely going to be an issue for this new moon. Now, for the chart of the day, so like when this actually happens in Washington, D.C., the ascendant is Aries, which makes Mars the chart ruler. And guess what? Mars is in the 6th house of health for this new moon. This emphasizes even more the importance of us, focusing on our health, doing all the things we can, getting our sleep, taking our vitamins. All of that's going to be very important for this new moon. All right, so let's see what else. So Mars, chart ruler in the 6th house, 10th house for the birth chart. But the 10th house is the house of authority and the government. So there's going to be some heated anger concerning a lot of issues, fighting within government, right? Also, it's the military. Mars is the soldier. So I'm wondering if we're going to have some of our people deployed for service overseas at this time. Of course, Saturn's still retrograde and is in the 11th house for the new moon chart of the day. And the 11th house is communities. And Saturn retrograde in Shatabishak is all about finding the cure, right? Something really good could come out this time concerning our health, I think. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if, health is the focus, but maybe we're going to get some good news here. Venus is in the 4th house of the homeland. That's actually good because Venus has directional strength in the 4th house. And so at least morale in the country will be stronger at this time. And then K2 is in the 7th house, having, Rahu on the ascendant for this new moon. So definitely things concerning our head, things concerning expansion, such as, rockets, anything to do with space travel is going to be prominent. Like I said, Shatabishak is also the sky watcher. So we have lots of issues coming to a head. And K2 in the 7th house indicates, a 7th house in a mundane chart is the opponent. It's, your enemy. And K2 there puts the enemy at a disadvantage. But K2 is likened to Mars. So, as we're grappling with people overseas, we don't exactly want to tick them off. On a personal level, again, focusing on Leo, Uttara Falguni, who are you giving to? Who's taking advantage of your kindness? This is something we all have got to really be careful of at this time. Establishing good boundaries is probably the theme of this new moon. Okay, so up next, the second half of September, 15th through the 30th. September 15th at 4:23 p.m. EST, Mercury goes direct. Yay! So the day after the new moon. That's excellent. So that energy is going to be even stronger for the new moon, the Mercury energy. But it's happening in Purva Falguni, and Purva Falguni especially is concerning artists. And so we'll probably, things are going to be coming to a head on the 14th. On the 15th, we may hear some kind of news out of Hollywood. Maybe they came to some kind of agreement or a partial agreement. That would be great. And then September 17th at 4:02 a.m. EST, we have the sun entering Virgo. So happy birthday, Virgos. We love your analytical ability and your organizational skills, and Virgo is a sign of health and healing. And so a lot of people that have, of course, we're talking sidereal Vedic astrology, we're not talking Western astrology. So you're probably thinking, I thought it was on the 22nd that it changed signs, or the 21st or whatever. The sidereal system, it happens around anywhere from the 14th to the 17th of the month. So Sun enters Virgo, steps away from Mercury. And then September 25th, January, and until January 17th, Mars is combusts the sun. Now, this is something that, is going to emphasize even more health issues. Now, Sun and Mars are in the same planetary camp. They are friends. However, they're both, fiery, right? And when Mars is combusts the Sun, he can be a little twitchy, a little bit overreactive, a little heated up, a little bit, you know, uh, can get angry, too angry. Now, Virgo is, an earth sign, so that can calm him down. However, I just want to say, as we are switching the nodes, Mars will still be combust the sun when Mars goes into Libra next month. And so, Mars conjunct K2 in the sign of Libra before November 28th, when K2 goes back to Virgo. I think it only happens like every couple years, year and a half or so, we have Mars conjunct K2. And K2 is likened to Mars. And, heads can fly with this configuration. And also, they were conjunct during the beginning of the pandemic. And so I just want people to really, really don't, just do everything you can to strengthen your immunity, because things are going to be heating up with our health. And then September 29th, we at 5:58 a.m. EST, we have the full moon at 11 degrees of Pisces, Uttara Bhadrapada, which is the chart we have here. So Uttara Bhadrapada is the serpent of the deep. It's Ahir Budanya, and he is likened to a dragon. Ashlesha is more like the serpent energy of like the younger serpent energy, but as the serpent matures, he becomes a dragon. And so this also represents our Kundalini at the base of our spine. And we've got it with Neptune retrograde. Now, what concerns me about those two planets together is our mental health. So as I've been talking about health and our gut health and all of that, you'd also better be doing things for your mental health. And I mean things that mentally strong people do, right? Don't blame others. Don't point fingers. Take responsibility for your actions. Take responsibility for your past. What else do mentally strong people do? They know that they have the power to change anything they want in their lives. They just have to apply themselves, not letting yourself sink into self-pity. Self-pity, sorry, my allergies are really bad right now, as you can tell. But especially, in the fourth house of the homeland for the United States, which is where this is happening. Yeah, mental health is going to be a big challenge. And, this is something I've been talking about with lots of my friends. And that is that somebody needs to take responsibility for the homeless crisis in this country. I guess in Tennessee, if you're homeless, they throw you in jail. It's been a state law now. That I don't think that's the answer, but I do think that we should not put the burden of this crisis onto private organizations, centers where people can go, because they can only stay there for a few days, and they can't do drugs there. So if they want to do drugs, they have to go out on the street. There needs to be some kind of, facilities established by the health networks. Like, for instance, here in Bloomington, we have IU Health. I'm not sure it should be a state or federal issue. I was thinking about that. But I think the health networks need to get money from the state or the federal government to establish crisis centers where people can go, and then also establish long-term living situations for people with mental health issues. This will get people off the streets. I know in the UK, they have places where people can go and, transition from shooting up heroin to doing methadone. Those are the kinds of clinics that we need to have that are available to anybody where they don't have to pay for it. Because some of those clinics are available, yes, but they cost a lot of money and it's not working. It's not working. So this is going to be, I feel like, a big issue for this full moon. And the full moon is when people start to go a little bit loony. You're going to see a lot of this on this full moon. Now, the ruler of the moon is Jupiter, and Jupiter is retrograde. And as I said, both Jupiter, you can see, and Uranus are retrograde, getting closer. And then as Jupiter goes direct, it will finally conjunct Uranus retrograde. Yeah, so having, for the chart of the day, the moon and Neptune retrograde in the eighth house. Eighth house is the house of transformation, the house of rebirth. And it's also sex, drugs, and rock and roll, right? And so definitely mental health is going to be an issue because we're probably going to, have some health emergencies. It's just, there's no doubt about it. The virus is strengthening again, and people have just got to be careful. I know we're all happy to be out of lockdown and go places and travel and all that, but just be careful what you do around September 29th, okay? All right, you guys. So, I feel like right now is a time when everybody's just got to be real cautious about how they are. Be cautious with your boundaries this month. Be cautious with your health, gut health, as well as your mental health. Do things. I've made lots of posts about, on my Instagram and my TikTok. If you're not following me on TikTok, I do a lot of videos there that I don't always post to YouTube. So head on over there and let me know what you think. Yeah, if you want to see how this pans out for you, just book a reading with me. Go to hindustanastrology.com, and I would love to see you in a reading sometime. And I have lots of options now. And if you are a first-time client and you cannot afford the full video consultation, right? I have a new option where you can just order a report. And this report will have all of the information about your birth chart. I've done it a little bit differently than I have in the past. And yeah, I would love to, see you here, see you on Instagram or TikTok, of course, my Facebook page. So yeah, I hope you guys have a great September. The heat is broken. So, here in Indiana, it's lovely outside. I'm excited for pumpkin season and to, get into my pear tree and harvest some pears. So I hope you guys enjoy this month, and until next time, bye.